Hello everyone, I have returned after, well, the 10th hiatus of this year, but I am back and I won't be back for long because I am going on holiday again. But if you didn't know, I was on holiday, which meant I couldn't upload videos because, well, I couldn't bring a camera or a laptop with me on holiday and lights and all that stuff. But I have returned. I am on holiday again, so don't expect many uploads. But at least this time I do have a reason for my hiatus, and it isn't just me disappearing because I'm a lazy little son of a gun. But in today's video, we have got Matt and Nick Jackson from the AEW Unrivaled Series 3 wave, and this is the first time I've seen these figures in Britain. I don't know why it's taken so long for them to get here, but they have at long last arrived here, and I'm really excited to get my hands on these figures, well, because I haven't got Young Bucks yet, and a new figure is always exciting. So that's enough be jabbing on. If you enjoy, please gently press like button and subscribe to help grow the channel. And also, thank you for everyone who watched the last videos. I gained about 15 subscribers from them, so thank you for subscribing. That's enough me jabbing on. Let's get in to the video. So first of all, we are going to look at these figures' packaging because, well, once they're out of the packaging, you're never going to see them in the packaging again. Because, God, it is really hard to get AEW figures out of their packaging without making the box look like it's been chucked in the Atlantic Ocean and stood on while in shipping. But let's take a look at the packaging, and you do have lovely visuals of both Matt and Nick Jackson on the boxes here. And it is the typical AEW Unrivaled packaging, which is the gold and black, which matches the AEW logo. And I think it looks really, really nice as always. And then on the back of each of these figures' boxes, you do have Matt and Nick Jackson in poses from when they wore this attire. And this was the Dynamite on the 29th of January 2020 in Cleveland, Ohio. And also part of these wave was Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, which I already reviewed. Yet somehow I've only got these figures now. It's very bizarre. But Nick Jackson is here doing the pose in his entrance, and then you have Matt Jackson after he's pinned. Is that John Moxley? I cannot tell. I think it's John Moxley. But a really nice packaging on both of these figures, as always. But let's get these figures out of the packaging now, because, well, I can't really review the articulation details and all that once they're still in the box. So as you can see, we do have both Matt and Nick Jackson out of the packaging, and they do look like really, really nice figures. The head scan perhaps are not the best ones, but I'll talk about it more later. But I do love the attires they have me given. The lovely tassels on both their boots and on their ring jackets are really nice. And I think there is mostly, it's a very good likeness, and I do like the attire they've given. But first, let's do look at the accessories, and there is only one accessory, which is this jacket. And to take this jacket off, I'm not really sure what you have to do. I think you have to pop their heads off, which I'm going to do off camera because I want to save embarrassing myself. But I think what you're going to do is pop the head off, which I'll have done after I've tried multiple times. As you can see, I have succeeded in taking the jacket of Mr. Matt Jackson. I'm not going to take Nick's off just yet or on camera because I just need to show you the one because, well, they're exactly the same. So they do have lovely golden tassels, as you can see here, and the Elite is written in gold on the back. This is a lovely golden attire with gold, white and blue, and there is also Elite written right there because they're obviously part of the Elite group. And there is also leopard print or tiger print, whatever you want to call it, going across his collar here and across here. But a very nice jacket, perhaps the best way of taking it on and off, because I worry it will make the peg in his head looser if you do keep taking his head on and off. But other than that, a really, really nice jacket, and I am very happy with the attire they have chosen. So now that we have looked at the accessories for both of these figures, which there weren't many of, we are going to take a look at both of their head sculpts and then the details and articulation evolved in the figure. These are both very similar figures, but there are some differences which we will take a look at. So first we're going to take a look at Matt Jackson's figure, looking at his head sculpt first, and we do see a screaming head sculpt for Matt Jackson given here, which is a different one to the Series 1 figure. And I don't think it's better than the Series 1 head sculpt, but it still is a very nice head sculpt. You do see the likeness there. The screaming is when he's perhaps doing a super kick, you would see this head sculpt being used. And the hair colour is just like Matt Jackson's. It doesn't show, it isn't the same head sculpt of the one you see on the packaging, but I do see the likeness. I don't think it's better than Series 1, but it is a decent one. And I'm not the biggest fan of Screaming head sculpt though, so it does bring my opinion of this head sculpt down. So now we are going to take a look at Matt Jackson's details of this figure. And there aren't any details on the top half apart from the hand paint, because, well, he wrestles topless. He doesn't need them. But on the bottom half, he has got a very detailed legs and waist. As you can see, we do have the Elite logo on his right leg, which is very nice on the blue, as you can see there. And it is a red, white, and gold. Red. Not red. What red? Why am I saying red? A blue, white, and gold attire. I got it correct that time. Which is a very nice attire, and I do love anything that involves gold on it. And I also do like the black and gold belt. The details on that are incredible, as you can see here. We've got the things the belt hooks onto. I've never worn a belt, so I couldn't tell you what they are. And it's just a very nice looking belt. And then going down onto his shoes, he has got these lovely little, what are they? All these strands, these golden, blue and white strands. I couldn't tell you what they are. What the hell are they? But you do see them on Matt and Nick Jackson's attire when they are fighting, and it does make the figure look very nice. So I'm not sure about the material used for them. It is a very clothy, stringy material. It does feel a lot like string, and I don't know whether that's best used on figures. It does take away perhaps from the figure feeling. I would have think for a more plasticky string thing, whatever they called, would be better for the figures, but still a very nice looking figure, some very nice details. And now let's take a look at the articulation of this figure. So moving on to the articulation of Matt Jackson's figure, he does have your traditional head left to right movement, which you would usually expect to be hindered by the long hair, but it isn't. It still moves perfectly left to right and up and down, which is really good to get more movement if you're perhaps stop motions or posing the figures around. And he also does have the traditional ratchet joints, which go up and down. I'm not the biggest fan of ratchet joints because they are very stuttery. They do stop in certain positions and you can stop it in every position, but it's not a huge problem. And of course you do have double jointed arms like on all AEW figures, which you love to see. They are much better than single jointed arms, which you used to see in WWE figures, but now they have started to move on to double jointed figures. And then he does have the traditional wrist movement, which is the same on both arms. Now he also has torso movement here. He can bend down quite well and lean back quite well as of course, and you can twist slightly left to right, but if you did turn that all the way around it would pop off the lower body parts. And then here, this can also go down and twist. The waist movement there is quite good, but if you were to turn it 90 degrees it would probably pop off the body. Now going down to the legs, he is on ball joints because all AEW figures are, and he can lift his legs up like so and bend the knees, which is a bit stiff at the moment, but that's because I've only just used it. I don't need movement on the lower part of the knee joint is slightly hindered because of these tassels. I think that's what they're called, tassels. And of course he does have ankle movement and boots which can bend down like so. So a very good figure to pose around. The only thing slightly hindered is the knee movement, but still very, very nice. And that is the articulation and details looked at basically for both the figures, because Matt and Nick Jackson's figures are practically the same. If you swap the head around, the only difference you'd notice is that the Elite badge is on a different leg from Matt to Nick Jackson's. Now we are going to take a look now at Nick Jackson's head sculpt because we haven't looked at that yet. And this is a head sculpt which is smiling or staring straight into your soul. I'm not going to lie, I'd be quite creeped out if I woke up and saw his face staring at me. Jesus Christ, look at that. You cannot deny that is quite a scary head sculpt. But no, it is still quite a decent one. You can of course tell it is Nick Jackson. It does come with his headband, which is very nice. And I think this is, I don't know whether it's better than the Series 1. I think, although I do prefer the skin tone, of course, the Series 1, because the Unrivaled figures did have that skin tone problem. Don't really know what caused that, but I do think I preferred the Series 1 head sculpt for Matt and Nick Jackson. But other than that, they are still really good head sculpts. Not really good. I think they're decent. I don't think they're incredible. They're not a 10 out of 10. They're not a 3 out of 10. I'd say they're in the middle range for head sculpts, but I still am happy with it because I'm happy with most of the figures I get. You can never really go wrong with an AEW or WWE figure these days. Unless it's basic. Those basic figures are awful. So a decent head sculpt, can certainly tell it is Nick Jackson, although I would be scared if I did see his face staring at me when I woke up in the middle of the night. But that is all from today's video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed, please gently press the like button and subscribe. Would be much appreciated to help grow the channel. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. Will we get there? I hope so, and I think we can do it. These are some decent figures. I give them both the exact same rating because they're practically the same figure if you just swap the heads around. Same body mold, same articulation, etc, etc. Only thing different is the head sculpt and the Elite logo beyond different legs. I'm going to give them a 6.5. Is that nasty? I'm giving them a 7 out of 10. I think other than the head sculpts, I think do bring the figures down. I am not that keen on them, but you can certainly see the likeness. But still, articulation's really good, attire's really good, and I would be happy to add them to my collection as I don't have Young Bucks yet. But if you like the Young Bucks, I'd recommend you pick them up, although I would perhaps wait for another Young Buck figure to come out if you are going to get one, only because of the head sculpts really. But they are, I do like these figures. That's all for me. There may not be a video out for the rest of a few weeks because I am going on holiday again. You may see me again, you never know. That's all for me. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Peace out. Heh heh.